Scotland wants to be a powerhouse of renewable electricity, but it has to be transmitted from the remote places in which it's generated to the cities where it's consumed. Today, the Crown Estates came up with a cunning plan. It's a sub-sea cable running from the Northern Isles to Aberdeen, coming ashore in Norfolk, then overland to London. Energy consultants put the cost at around £2 billion. Phase 2 costs nearly £5 billion and could link to Germany, the Netherlands, Norway and the Western Isles.
It's a terrific idea. We need that cable to link these remote located renewables in the Northern Isles and also in the Western Isles down to the markets in England. So not just East Coast, one down the West Coast as well. What about Western Isles to Liverpool, something like that?
Subsea cables are not new, but despite technological advances, other experts believe a cable would increase the price of Scottish electricity to pay for its laying and maintenance. Sir Donald Miller was responsible for building much of the national grid in this country.
It will be a tremendous burden on energy costs in this country, something that we should certainly avoid.
Do you think it would then be this whole idea, this is damaging ultimately to the economy?
Very damaging to Scotland's economy, and it's difficult to see where the benefit is.
There have been previous proposals for underwater cables. A year ago, Lewis Wind Power supported the idea of one from the Western Isles to southwest Scotland. A second plan was a short cable into Loch Broom. The pylons needed to connect it to the grid are fiercely opposed. And a third plan was a cable from Lewis around the north of Scotland, coming ashore near Dounreay. None are yet being built. The trouble with all these cable schemes, including the new one, is that they don't address the fundamental problem facing Scottish electricity, and that's the locational charging scheme. Put simply, the greater the distance between where the electricity is produced, northern Scotland, and where it's used, the southeast of England mainly, the greater the cost it is on the open market. We have the curious situation where UK taxpayers subsidise wind farms in Scotland, and yet the charging schemes makes the electricity they produce more expensive.
It's something now the government needs to sort out between UK and Scottish government if we're really serious about tapping this wonderful renewables resource we have on land and at sea in the north and the northwest of Scotland. Then we've got to get rid of this nonsensical charging.
And it seems the First Minister believes the Crown Estates report goes some way towards doing that.
And the real task for our country is not just to secure our electricity production, which we will do and can do. The real task is to find the economic means of exporting that substantial surplus of power to the energy-poor areas of Europe. And that is what this government has been addressing, and that is why, incidentally, we should be welcoming the Crown Estates analysis today on undersea pipelines for electricity connections.
But hang on a minute, we're still waiting the result of a year-long public inquiry into a massive power line through Scotland, Beaulieu to Denny. Campaigners argue the giant pylons would not be needed if there was a subsea cable. Yet that scheme looks even further ahead. It anticipates a huge increase in the output of electricity from Scotland. That could require even more pylons. Underwater might be the environmentally friendly and quickest way to link all the renewables into a grid.
I think it makes a lot of sense to distribute our renewable energy widely for two reasons. A wide grid helps overcome the intermittency of some renewable sources. When the wind's not blowing on the Shetlands, those very rare days, it will be blowing somewhere else. And if those are connected in a grid, then we have enough renewable power on the grid. The other benefit of the undersea cable link is that the technology involves relatively small transmission losses. So we can take the energy a long way from where it is generated most efficiently to where it's used.
That Scotland has huge potential to generate renewable electricity is not in doubt. Achieving consistent, affordable supply where it's needed remains the biggest challenge.